All right, let's dive on into the next one, huh? This is Sunny Shyvana, or Leona Shyvana here. One thing that I like to point out with this deck that's a little bit different than a lot of the other Shyvana decks that are going around is, I think one thing that I'm not a huge fan of that other people are doing with Shyvana is a lot of people are really leaning into her dragon theme and playing her with a lot of really expensive, slow, clunky cards. I think Shyvana is just a good card mostly on her own that's very reasonably self-enabling by attacking as a 5/5 or things with single combat or concerted strike. So I don't think you need a ton of dragons around her to make her good. So in addition to Shyvana being a dragon, the only other actual dragon we're playing in this deck is Screeching Dragon, which is another just generically good unit on its own that helps us control the board. One of the biggest upsides to only playing Shyvana and Screeching Dragon as the only two dragons in our deck is it means Dragon's Clutches always guaranteed draws us one Shyvana and one Screeching Dragon. Now, past these two being dragons, we also have 3 copies of Egghead Researcher here at the bottom end of our curve, which generates us extra dragons as well in the middle. And then the other half of this deck is the Leona Daybreak package. So Leona, very good card at helping us control the board and providing aggressive starts for us. So we've got her along with Priestess, Shield Bearer, Solari Soldier, and then It's Always Sunny in Runeterra down here at the bottom. I also have, because our deck is kind of aggressively slanted, I have one cheeky copy of Morning Light in here to really let you pressure people out of the game when you're in an aggressive position. This is also Leona's champion spell, so it's occasionally very good just drawing it that way, but I've liked this enough when it was her champ spell to actually play an additional copy as well. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games with this and see how they go. Title, thank you. What do I think of the EU format? I have been following the EU tournament. I think the format is novel, but it feels kind of convoluted and difficult to keep up with as a viewer at home. I definitely prefer the generic best of 3 pick ban to how that format is. So they're playing a bigger Shyvana deck, so we are almost assuredly the aggressor in this matchup. So I'm going to mulligan these two, looking for like a 1 and a 3 to have kind of an aggressive start here to try and run them down before they get too big. This is fantastic. This is exactly what we were looking for to start. How often do you find yourself giving the +1/+1? Not very often, Sully. We're basically playing Dragon's Clutches as a draw 2 dragons.
Unyielding light. My faith protects me. Clad in shining
Really solid curve here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Devotion to battle.
You cannot sway me.
Yeah, we've had a good viewer count all day today, guard, so I decided to run an encore this afternoon. I appreciate everybody hanging out. Jay Pire, Go-To, and Simone, thanks for the new follows. There are a few of them in there. I appreciate you folks. It's not really a Mirror Lambton. Their deck's a bigger version of what we are. Yeah, I think we draw 2 dragons with the intention of block plus sharp sight here.
Scorching light.
They could have another sharp sight of their own or a hush here, but that's fine because then we can play Screeching Dragon and eat this next turn potentially. Now, one thing worth noting, because I think we are the beatdown in this matchup, I think our opponent, like, having an empty board early does favor our opponent, I think. Sure, they're playing Pale Cascade too. It's a lot of combat tricks on their part.
We will see which of us is victorious.
Like I said, I would expect this to be a bad matchup for us. Usually being slightly bigger is favorable. I would expect our decks much better against various aggressive decks in the format, though. Yep.
No remorse.
Almost always bigger fish is accurate.
I fight for the fallen.
Sure.
You will be scoured from this land.
I think this trade is good for us if it happens. It wipes the lifesteal off it while their life total is low. Like I said, we're the beatdown, so keeping their life total manageable is ideal.
Dragon blood, Demacian heart.
Bless the faithful and sear the heretics.
I think I'm gonna give this Challenger.
Protect me.
Punish transgressions.
Break them.
This is close. They have Hail Cascade and Sharp Sight, so this attack might go sideways on us. Of that one.
Acceptable.
Yeah, we got basically blown out at every single point we can get blown out that game. It just happens sometimes, not a big deal. Like I said, I think even if things don't come up well for them in a game like that, I think they're still ahead a lot of the time just because of the makeup of their deck versus ours. I'm gonna mulligan these, looking for more Daybreak cards in the middle of our curve here. Sharp Sight's not terrible against Teemo. So that's a Teemo on one.
Prepared for anything. I'll scout ahead. More mushrooms.
Raise your weapon, Sunwood.
Yeah, there has been a lot of Teemo Sejonis so far today.
To battle.
Their archetype with Teemo on one versus not having Teemo on one tends to be like night and day different. Their deck's much worse without Teemo on one.
My collection.
We're just banking spell mana this turn. Maybe it could be right to fight these here. Howdy, Niv.
Dragon blood, Demacian heart.
I mean, to be blunt, if I felt like there was another line, I would have discussed it and taken it at various different points. If you have a specific point you'd like to go back and analyze, I'd encourage you to leave a comment on the YouTube video. But often, one of the ways things end up playing out in matchups where you're the underdog is you have to take risks in order to be able to have a chance. Like, generally a defining feature of a bad matchup is you end up in spots where you are required to take risks because you need to get lucky in order to win the matchup in general.
Severos.
But just the kind of generic, like, could I have done something better? I don't know, I don't think so. If you ever have a specific line to point out during a game, I'm always open to discussing it, but like, retroactively, generically, was there something? I don't know. Probably not. Probably, who knows? There's a lot of decision points in these games.
An auspicious season.
Oh, these two things going is kind of scary. I think I want to kill these idiots this turn.
Wear red to
At least attempt to. Leona with Daybreak Dorkos could... Huh? They can have a Mystic Shot here. Pump their top thing up some more. Yep.
By snow and stars. An auspicious season.
I think I'm obligated to trade these here. Hopefully most of these power-ups have gone in the same unit. We'll just have one big thing we can stun a bunch here to try and stay in the game, potentially.
Put on me mask, secure me tail, start the day.
The power of the immortal sun.
They play a cheap, massive unit here. We're probably going to die. I guess if it's not Teemo, we can chump it with Egghead Researcher.
I'm something of an aspiring trichologist.
Egghead likes to make him a 9-drop chip.
Our sun will not set today.
That's a good one. You gonna Thermo Beam this, Dorko? Katniss. That's a nickname I haven't heard before. It seems fitting, though.
Follow the tracks.
Excuse you.
Excuse you. You got it.
Ever vigilant.
Just want to keep my life total high here. Sure.
Last light.
Oh, that's a harvest right there.
Alright, so we've got about one mushroom per card in our deck now once they play this other one out.
I was forged by winter. Bow to no one.
Yep. Which probably means we're locked out of the game with this.
Daylight breaks on the battlefield. I am the bulwark against darkness. The sun's splendor revealed.
The problem is my deck has to win inside of combat breach by dog, so like, I'm not really able to do that. So I have 9 mana total here. Is it crazy to just like do this, and then Morning Light? I feel like it's not.
Proud warriors of the sun's true light. All unbelievers will see the light.
Definitely not beating another Avalanche.
Forward in the name of the Solari.
I assume there's a good chance they have another Frostbite in their hand here, too.
Answer to me.
Hey, roar.
The problem is, as long as this is in play, every single mushroom we draw Frostbites our board every turn. Yeah, but the problem is our board's not going to have any attack, Hank.
It's you.
Oh, we're halfway there. Oh, living on a prayer. Take my hand, we'll make it, I swear. Doo-doo. Be-doo-doo-doo-doo. Be-doo-doo-doo-doo. No mushrooms, 2 cards in a row. Hashtag sometimes lucky. Oh, you know. Let's hope you don't get DCMA'd. Yep. Yeah, there were only 21 puff caps and 24 cards there. We weren't quite 1-to-1. We didn't even need to dodge the mushroom last turn. We played this and we hit it. Hey, good game, Luck. Hey, if you close the app, you're still in the game, by the way. Good luck at the rest of your laddering today. Just subbed for 6 months. Been watching your stream relatively consistently for the last 2.5. I wanted to support you in your transition. I picked up Runeterra and have been enjoying your new content for the last 2 weeks. Thanks, Shensu. I really appreciate that. It's good to have you around, and thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, we were pretty fortunate in 2 ways there. They triggered those Starlit Seers an ungodly number of times, and they never found it. That being said, we also had the Silence a Unit Deal 6 lurking in our hand too, right? You know what I just realized? I just realized my sub count wasn't updating on stream because I rebooted my computer to install Windows Update and forgot to relaunch the application. Look at that, it's 10 higher than it was. God bless. Mono Garen with a Shadow Isle Splash. So... you know, sometimes, as someone who, has small children, occasionally things happen. What happens at 1,500? 1,500 subscribers after talking with my wife and our finances, that's my, this is full-time content as a job line. So, basically, if I drop under 1,500 for an extended period of time, I'll have to reassess the types of games that I'm playing and things that I'm doing on stream. Yeah, it's not a target, it's a threshold, is a good way to say. For reference, when I was doing Magic as my primary game for 2018, 2019, and the first half of this year for 2020, I hovered between 2,000 and 3,000 concurrent subscribers doing Magic as my primary game.
Slow down.
I think we play Egghead here to start, so we can play this defensively next turn with the extra toughness trigger. I'm gonna stand up here too. Legs are getting a little cramped. Makes it a little scary. They open on attacks with this. This will be a a 5/4. It is a good dragon. Yep, there's a lot of good dragons for Akin Researcher to hit. If they don't open attacks here, this into single combat or sharp sight are both going to be real good for us. Which is that kind of balance when you're playing Runeterra. Like, do they start by pressuring me with an attack, or do they add to their board so they can try and attack with their new cards?
Oh, don't get too close.
How bothersome.
Unfortunately, dye jobs are off the table until we make it to a post-COVID landscape. Especially dyeing the beard is something I got done professionally. I wouldn't want to do that at home. Hey, thanks for the Prime support, Ox. Really appreciate that. There's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff. Thanks for supporting mine this month with it. I think I'm just banking spell mana here so I can Shyvana into both of these next turn. The Pix boost is also temporary, so this is only going to be a 3-2 next turn.
Break their spirits and their swords.
You must have some unique insight into dragons.
Most are cruel, vicious, and deadly. Suffer my fury.
I guess riposte here could kind of be scary, but if they riposte, I can single combat. Yeah, so they do this. I guess that's not great because if I single combat these two, I'm going to trade the whole board off. I think that's probably worthwhile though, huh? This thing's just going to keep getting scarier. This 3-for-2 trade doesn't feel good, but I think it's necessary. That's true. One of those cards did generate a card, so it's kind of the exact math is kind of wishy-washy. No, I have no desire to play Magic the Gathering.
Harry, riposte, you are toast.
I think Magic the Gathering is a fundamentally worse game than Legends of Runeterra, and Wizards of the Coast is a much worse company than Riot.
May our light shine forever.
The way Wizards treats their player base is awful, and the way they treat me personally is extra awful. That's real good. So they're gonna get to support this again and eat my thing.
Run them through. Hardly.
Arena as a game is also incredibly predatory and completely consumer unfriendly. Huh. I guess we're just supposed to go wide here. I can only play out 2 units this turn, unfortunately, though.
Sunlight guide you, my brethren.
I think I need this to help stabilize my life total if we don't die here. There's a good chance they kill us on open attacks next turn.
Go on, Pix.
Yeah.
Like the Yellow Floop said.
We're a little bit too slow out of the gate this game.
Here I am. Reverend Dearest.
I did not talk about how Wizards of the Coast treats their employees, which is also bad. There are lots of examples of systematic racism present in Wizards of the Coast hiring practices. And you're right, Riot had had some issues in the past, but I know people that work at Riot Games, and the people that I talk to have told me that they've worked hard to change their corporate culture and address their issues. I am permanently blacklisted by Wizards of the Coast from ever getting invites to any of their events because I say mean things about them on occasion. Like, I talk about how Magic Arena is predatory, and about how some of their events resemble gambling.
Them unworthy.
On top of the fact that they, like, don't really support their content creators at all. You, Jasmine and Veramos, thanks for the follows.
Whoa, dizzy.
I tend to be pretty well informed and politically active. So like when you try and like do the whataboutism with Riot, I probably know more about it than you do. As a most recent example, when a Riot executive said some awful things after the awful murder of George Floyd, Riot promptly removed him very quickly and made a monetary donation on top of it. So, like, yeah, companies are made of people, and people fail on occasion, but how the leadership in those companies reacts to that failure is also important.
And sear the heretics. Punish transgressions.
I think we just egghead here.
With a little time, I'll have a breakthrough.
We have our curve basically lined up for the next few turns here, so like this is going to be 4, this is going to be 5, so I think we're just playing this turn to get onto the board.
Scorching light.
Agree, Blevins. I know a lot of people in the video game industry in general at this point, and while Riot's definitely not infallible, the things I know from people that work there, it's definitely better than a lot of companies and actively good in many ways.
Think I'm still like a yodel in uniform?
That man, it's absolutely stellar. What were they like? I have the scars to prove it.
Alright, so I think we're hooking this one. If they want to finish this off with a piece of spot removal, that's fine. I've got plenty more chunky boys in my hand. Have a good one, A-Dash. Thanks for dropping in today. And, like, I understand, just for the record, too, that, like, we live in a late-stage capitalistic society, and Riot's a company that wants my money, and they want your money, too. Expert Shot, thanks for the 3rd of a year. I really appreciate that. Welcome back. It's just also important to acknowledge that Riot has determined the best way to get our money is in a manner that's consumer-friendly, right? Like, you can acknowledge that they're doing these things because they want to be profitable and make money, while also acknowledging the reality that the things they've done to make money are better for the consumer than what the competitors are doing. Both of those things can be true at the same time. Yeah, Riot would rather have 100 players give them $20 rather than 20 players give them $100. I think is a very apt comparison of Riot's model with card games compared to, like, Hearthstone and Arena and those. Hearthstone, Arena, and other card games are whale hunting, and Riot's decided that they want to go in the opposite direction. They want to get small amounts of money from lots of people by making things worth buying.
The dawn has arrived.
Get stun this here and see what they do. Having Concerted Strike in hand is also good in case they drop like a boat or a Swain here. It is about to be very sunny in here. You're not wrong.
You name it, I'll nick it.
Fear the power you do not see.
Okay, I didn't want a Concerted Strike there because we could get flocked in response, which wouldn't be great for us.
Warriors of the Raharata, time is now!
To follow you, behold the divine power of the sun.
The divine power of the sun.
Payday!
Hey, congrats, Jota. Diamond's nothing to scoff at. So if they have if they have a flock, they can level Swain in response here. So I think I just play Egghead here and hold up these two. I think Flock is pretty likely. Okay, so how do we feel about Sharp Sight here? How do you feel about Sharp Sight into single combat this? I think that's the plan. This plays around a second Flock in hand. Just trades these off. And then next turn I have a really good Morning Light attack.
Soul Invictus.
Invictus. So the problem with trying to bait the second Flock is we could get blown out by it if they don't take the bait. And I think we're far enough ahead there that I want to just, like, guaranteed get my good trade in. I think the upside of baiting a second Flock there is low and the downside is high. Why is Shillionaire 999,993 channel points now? Well, you see, basic trickle-down Shillonomics dictate that every time we get a new Shillionaire, it becomes easier for all the plebs at home to also achieve Shillionaire. So we've had 7 Shillionaires in Hoaglandia so far, so it's that much easier for all of the aspiring Shillionaires at home to yank on their bootstraps. A tater can dream, exactly.
We wear red to honor the fallen.
Unyielding light.
Do we have any shillflation yet? We do not. Listen, chat, every opportunity we have to poke fun at capitalism here, we're gonna take it, okay?
Don't let them through!
This is, again, I think this matchup's probably bad for us. We played this earlier and got kind of beat up. Their deck is doing some similar things to ours, a little bit bigger top end.
Fascinating creatures.
This is the one matchup I've played that has felt really challenging for this archetype.
Just isn't the same without you, Anna.
I am always.
I think capitalism is inherently flawed. Yes, definitely. If capitalism is not appropriately gated with strong social safety nets, it leads to lots of issues like we see in the United States and other countries. More so in the United States, though, because most developed countries have more safety nets than the US does. How do you trigger Nightfall? Nightfall triggers as long as it's not the first card you play in a turn. You cannot, Lambton.
Scars to prove it.
Something, by the way, if you haven't seen this Easter egg before, see this guy taking the egg? It's this one right here. This is him. These cards are in different card drops too, which is great. Love it.
I'm something of a fine tricologist. May our light shine forever. I'm glad for your help.
Thanks, Jasmine. It's good to have you here.
It seems like you've got a lot to learn.
I think we just pass here. This is gonna challenge here, and then we'll trade Sunny for this, I think.
Unbeliever!
Yeah, I mean, the long and story short is that, like, capitalism would gut you and sell your entrails for profit if it thought it could get away with it and make a buck doing it. That's why it's important that, like, we have rules to regulate the capitalism. That's great. Thanks, Zentoth. Am I playing her? I could just go get dragons. Maybe I want to do that, actually. And again, remember, Shyvana and Screeching Dragon are the only 2 dragons in our deck, so when we play that, we're guaranteed to get those 2. The trick is to making doing so not profitable. Yeah, exactly. Shyvana gets caught with the voice bubble on her quite frequently. A little bit of a graphical bug there. Boo. Alright, I guess I just play the lieutenant here and hook this.
A soldier should know to stay out of the way.
She's typing a long message, yeah. Shyvana hunt and pecks on the keyboard, right? It's just like one letter, one character at a time. I assume they're going to open on their scout attack here. Really? Alright, well. You must burn like one. Burn like it, not like one. God, we were so close to nailing the voice line, chat. Yes, close.
Sunlight blinds. The prophecies ring true.
That is unfortunately going to eat my my Shyvana here. See if they respect Sharp Sight or not. They can have a Sharp Sight or a Pale Cascade of their own to not need to respect it. Okay, sweet. So this pull tells me they likely don't have any combat tricks. So, what do we want to... What is my next turn going to look like? I think it's just this, huh? We could kill the 6/6 stun this as well. I think either way I'm playing Egghead. Yeah, it's tough, right? I don't think it's super cut and dry. We could kill this and then attack them as well. Because, like, this will get stunned. But, like, they're on 9. But, like, they can't... Well, they can Orient Sol this turn because of this. Huh? Most of our plays suck against Asol, huh? Killing the scout does feel relevant. I agree. I think this is the play.
The sun's splendor revealed.
The heavens diminish without my attention.
Such majesty.
How do we feel about hooking Asol so I can attack with everything else? I'm kind of into it. I feel like we gotta beat him down, huh?
Do you see?
Yeah, I agree. We're definitely behind going long.
My, how they stare. Must give you more fangs. So breathtaking.
This makes her big enough to, Yep. Like I said, this matchup is very hard. We're not just dead here, but we're likely dead.
There are none like me.
least we get a gorgeous animation with our likely death. What do we need to draw? We have like 2 draw steps. We need like concerted strike plus a way to break spell shield here. Is the out? I guess this could, if we find like a single combat to break the spell shield, this could find us a meteor shower.
Now they'll pay attention.
Falling comet is what I meant. Meteor shower is the deal
Bask
for.
in her radiant blessing.
I think we're probably dead at this point, though. They still have a bunch of cards in hand. This is invoking every turn. We're a lot less than halfway there. Meteor King, thank you for the follow. Welcome to Oglandia. I think I'll probably just concede this matchup if we hit it again in this set. Doesn't seem particularly winnable without being super fortunate. Hopefully we can find where are the Twisted Fate Go Hard decks we were playing against earlier today. Little bit of rough matchup variance. We were playing the deck full of X1s and we hit a bunch of Twisted Fate Go Hard decks. And now we're queued up with this and we hit a bunch of Oriensol. That Oriensol deck probably never beats the Jagged Butcher deck we were playing earlier today, Jagged Taskmaster. Definitely mulliganing these two. Is Egghead plus Lieutenant good enough to keep here? I think so. This'll give us a Dargon to give this Challenger on 3. So we'll bank Spellman on 1, play this on 2.
I'm something of an aspiring trichologist.
How about that 1-3 life, chat? You all about that 1-3 life? I know I am.
True light.
Play a Kalista for me. Yeah. Just like we drew it up, chat fam.
You seem like you've got a lot to learn.
Nailed it.
What a specimen.
Good clean living. We'll get to draw dragons this turn and then play Screeching Dragon next turn potentially. That's a Leona. We'll see what they play out. I think I want a Screeching Dragon next turn. Okay, I think I just want a Screeching Dragon. I tweeted this out yesterday, but I think Dragon's Clutches is low-key one of my favorite cards in Runeterra. The fact that you can build your deck in a way to make it a tutor like that is just so sweet. So, I have an Uplift brand standing desk, and I would actually explicitly not recommend that brand. In the before times, before we were Playgrid, I was going to replace it. But now I'm planning to use it till it fully breaks, but the electronics in it are awkward, and I have to manually reset it once or twice a week. It'll just, like, stop going up and down.
Push back the dark.
They were not a sponsorship, no, Jin. They were just literally the cheapest standing desk on the market, and it turns out they were the cheapest for a reason. Details of visitors. Oh, we had a chair sponsorship at one point. Huh. What if we single combat this? I'm kind of into it. I don't think I just want to pass here. Nah, I think I'm into trading the moose for the dragon here. What if I trade Concerted Strike now? This seems fine. Afternoon, Busy Dragon. It's pretty good. I did the wrong order in case of a barrier. That's a really good observation, Zoran. You are correct. You'd be surprised, Ola Gold. Even my cheap one holds my 3 monitors just fine. I actually posted a picture. I added a PlayStation 5 to my desk last week when they came out, and there's a photo of my setup on my Twitter with the 3 monitors, my tower, my PlayStation, and my Nintendo Switch.
You seem like you've got a lot to learn.
Break them.
Got back into Runeterra again and ripped the Twisted Diana from your site. Such a joy. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's one of my favorites for sure. Without monitor arms, you're not finding a desk that supports their... That's literally not true. Check my Twitter. I am currently streaming from a desk that has a tower, a PlayStation, and 3 monitors across it.
The dawn has arrived. Sunlight blinds.
Not the egg.
Come, face me.
Oh, he's gonna level. I'm dumb. So obviously I just wasted a sharp sight there.
I'll bring them peace.
Light.
I should have flipped those, right? Leona would have lived. That was a pretty big mistake on my part.
Push back the darkness.
Leona would have lived there if I'd have sequenced those differently.
Dragon blood to
Leona living would have been a big deal too, because we'd have more stuns for their next
Long path to get
whatnot.
Sephiroth.
If they have another harrowing, we could die here. Okay, that's not a harrowing. I think I just play this out as a chump blocker for Sithra. Could potentially find us a piece of removal as well.
Bask in her radiant blessing.
There you are.
Just like we drew it up.
They grow up so fast.
Believe or burn.
Now I take to the sky.
So, I actually think at this point we don't kill their board because we want to lock their bench space in for their harrowings. So I'm going to pass here and leave them 2 bench spaces locked. I think this deck's super reasonable. I think it's bad against the Orion Sol deck that's going around. But outside of that, it's got decent matchups against a lot of the aggro and other control decks.
We'll follow you to the edge of daybreak. We will not suffer unbelievers.
They will not escape punishment. No mercy for heretics.
I was not, Nola Gold. That sounds really awful though, so I'm glad I wasn't around for it. Why not block with a 3-2? Because the 3-3 was going to turn back into something else. Getting the Daybreak and Nightfall trigger on this with Always Sunny is lovely.
Stand for what's right.
So, for people wondering why we're not playing this card in our main deck, the reason why we don't play this card is because if you play a third dragon, Dragon's Clutches no longer guarantees what you draw. So we give up playing some top end like this to have consistency. So, the fact that our 2 copies of Clutches always get us Shyvana Screeching Dragon is very, very powerful. Having that card be predictable lets you get out of a lot of spots you'd otherwise be crossing your fingers in. Thanks for freaking out this afternoon, by the way. It's a little bit later than I usually go in the afternoons. If you're new to the channel, my normal stream schedule during the week is 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central Time. We had a bunch of people in here this afternoon, though, so I decided to run a little bit later. Thanks for hanging out. If you haven't already, be sure to check out my YouTube channel as well. When I'm done today, I post highlights there every single day of the week, as well as full stream archives. I cut everything up deck by deck, so it's really easy to find just the content that you care about. I think I actually forgot to put Jagged Taskmaster up there, but it'll go up there. I'll put it up there after I'm done streaming. When I put it up on the YouTube channel. It does, Bone Zone. Yeah, if you have Always Sunny out, you get both those triggers. I mean, to be fair, Giant Dragons are really good against Go Hard decks. So, we're definitely the beatdown in this matchup. We're going to mulligan. We're attacking on odds. I'm actually going to full mulligan here, looking for 1s and 2s. Yep, this hand's what we're looking to do. This matchup, I think, is a little bit challenging, but it's not nearly as unwinnable as the Orient Soul matchup, because the deep doesn't quite go that large.
Give me the stuff! Stuff make happy!
Stuff make happy.
Follow the horizon.
Oh, Dredge Treasures. I do not, Extreme Hammond. I am much happier playing games that are fun as opposed to playing Arena.
My faith protects me. Unyielding light.
Leveled Leona on 4. Definitely one of our better aggressive starts.
Corruption everywhere.
The dawn has arrived.
Carry her light across.
Behold the divine power of the sun.
So I think we're just opening on attacks next turn.
And so, life springs anew.
Life springs anew.
Follow the horizon.
And then next time I'm attacking on 7, I can Day Spear plus Solari to stun a couple of things, which is nice. So I think we're just playing some eggheads here. hoping to give ourselves a decent dragon to play on their next turn.
With a little time, I'll have a breakthrough.
That'll do. Nope, that's 7. We're only gonna have 6 next turn. Daya, thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. Looking for a 4, 5, or 6. Perfect. Not amazing, but playable next turn. Well, that's even better.
Protect our grove.
This is going to turn into a monster next turn.
No mercy for heretics.
No mercy for heretics.
Onward.
Sure. It's gonna pop off real soon. 25. Pop off right now. Yep. Man, turn 6 level Maokai is brutal. He obliterates all but 4 cards in my deck. Yeah, clutch likely has no hits now. Yeah, turn 6 Maokai is like super unreasonable.
Daylight everlasting.
Bask in the light's radiance.
Yeah, LD pig.
Unacceptable.
So, pretty typical mid-range deck problems with this today. Had struggles against decks that are going over the top of us, and had good games against decks that are at parity or a little bit smaller than we are. So, Deep, Oriensol, those are definitely decks that are challenging. Things like Swain, Ezreal, Twisted Fate. These decks are all very reasonable matchups for us. Jettison's a burst spell ghosty, so you can't respond to it.
Raise your weapon sunward.
Raise the weapon sunward.
Punish transgressions.
Yeah, I agree, Nola Gold. Our units are good, have good stats for these damage-based decks to interact with. Egghead Researcher is actually low-key great in matchups like this. He's a body that annoys them on the board, and the game's gonna go long enough that we can play even expensive dragons like this.
Devotion to battle.
It was added the dragon title when being a dragon became relevant to the last set. So it wasn't previously. Sharpsight is so good. Speaking of so good, that draw right there definitely qualifies. Man, every time Shyvana, she is just not a fast texter, chat. Just trying to find the keys on that keyboard. Just You work it out. You work it out, Dragon Lady.
They are nothing.
They're gonna tell Shyvana to get flocked here, but it is what it is. I think I still open and hit them for 3. The Jester logo is an extension of the idea that I am a dancing monkey here on stream. It's hard to type with claws, that's fair. I'm actually just gonna play a 5-5 out here, I think.
Solari control all that her warmth touches.
Sure. You got me. You keep 2 for 1 in those thick monsters, opponent. We got plenty more thick creatures where those came from. You could argue that Leona makes the rocket world go round, chat.
Her light rules the night.
To shine like the sun, you must burn like it.
The submission site still has the dancing monkey on it, for those that haven't looked recently.
Merely pawns in a greater game. Such little lives.
And you get a stun, and you get a stun. Everybody gets a stun. Probably should have done that, huh?
This is one for the record books.
That is the implication. She is in fact a fat-bottomed girl. Yeah, boat's gonna be real unfortunate here.
I'm something of an aspiring trichologist.
Don't have a single combat or a They almost assuredly have a way to... What on God's green earth? Sure.
This dragon is positively otherworldly. Witness strength. Not the egg.
I think I do this to prevent this from getting...
With a little time.
Prevent this from getting damage marked on it, so we can open on Morning Light next turn, I think is the plan. We can Morning Light into Zenith Blade. I guess the Zenith Blade's not good because they can deal direct damage to me here and stun my board with their Swain. Okay.
The sun's splendor revealed.
Flee for Noxus.
Don't stun me.
Unwavering strength.
Check me out. Don't blink or you'll miss me.
Okay. We have a big incentive to open on attacks.
Watch and learn.
Back later.
No way.
Yeah, this card is nothing to scoff at, that's for sure. Okay, well, that was probably the best draw in their deck, huh? Can it find them what they need though? Are they dead to this? Nailed it. That was sick.
Soul Invictus.
Would you say that was a clutch card there at the end for us, chat? Would that be a descriptor you would use? Let's do one more here, huh? Call it an afternoon after one more. Love this against their damage-based removal. Have a good 1-2 curve here. Don't think I need a redundant soldier. Egghead Researcher really showing off some of its value in that last game. Same opponent? I don't know. Same archetype. I wasn't paying attention to the name last time.
With a little time, I'll have a breakthrough.
Clad in shining sunlight.
Shining sunlight. I'm gonna hold on to this for now. We could potentially try and eat an Ezreal with this down the line. Any deck do you think Katarina belongs in? I think that's potentially fine. She's kind of an awkward card in general because she's bad in multiples. So they're burning 3 mana if we pass. We're burning 2 mana. I think I take that exchange. I think that's a good trade for me.
You and I have been before, haven't we?
Devotion through battle.
Yeah, our deck does a good job of keeping the cards flowing without having to play lots of really dedicated, expensive, clunky cards. Like, you'll note that my curve stops at, what do we stop at, 5 or 6? But we use our mana consistently as we go into the late game still, because of our card generation. I think this deck is a very reasonable discard aggro matchup. You have to mulligan appropriately for it, but on average, I think you're favored there. The Field of Rush matchup, you're a little bit behind. I would definitely describe this deck's range of matchups as good against mid-range and aggro and poor against control.
You cannot sway me.
Daylight everlasting! By my hand, let Noxus rise.
The dawn has arrived.
May it never leave.
To shine like the sun, you must burn like it.
Because it's always sunny here, we could Morning Light to get a big hit in depending on what they play here, or we could play this and just stun one thing. Morning Light's potentially lethal here, actually. Huh? Well, now I'm gonna do this and stun their 2-1. These are really not outcomes I'm looking for here. The elusive on this could be good, but I've got plenty of things in play. I'm gonna take the Raven Stars. Picking up a Shyvana could be okay here. Yeah, we tried a variation of this archetype that was playing Garen. It definitely felt okay. So I assume they're gonna tell this to get flocked here. We're gonna play some more of the Garen variation on stream later this week.
Unwavering strength.
Alright, well, no flock is great for us. Do you have a boat?
They should thank you for the freedom. I will break them. Empire above all! Our destiny!
Get a little dial-up dragon action going on here.
Destination in sight! Bring these lands to their lands. I will.
Oh, they're gonna get to stun my things here. That was loose. I should have single combated. It's fine. It's fine. They were gonna flock it. Now they might try and double flock, and then we get to single combat their thing. But yeah, that was a mistake on my part. I wasn't thinking there. Target Nanich. You can find it up on, we played it in, it's linked in the deck queue. This is technically lethal, because we hook the boat and then kill them. Hopefully they're dead here. They like try and kill this in response. I single combat again. They try and kill this. I sharp sight it. Oh, this is gonna stun my strongest thing. I'm gonna do this then. And then if they don't have anything else, they're done. I guess if they have another flock, I get savaged here, though. Yeah, maybe this is wrong. There were a lot of permutations these last 2 turns. I definitely don't think I played them optimally. Alright, they've got nothing.
Their get tired.
We'll take it. I definitely think I was a little bit sloppy here on these last couple of turns. Ended up getting bailed. Like I said, I think our decks match up against the Swain Ezreal and the Ezreal decks in general tend to be pretty reasonable. Our units tend to be big, so their damage-based removal struggles against us, and we play to the board very quickly and can even pressure them out of games on occasion. So, yeah, if you're looking for a sweet mid-range deck, this is definitely one of my favorite Shyvana variations. I'm pretty happy with it. I don't think you can really make the Oriental matchup, like, meaningfully better without fundamentally changing the core of the deck. I mentioned there's a Garen variation I want to poke at too, so later this week or next week we're going to get to Shyvana Garen, which has a similar core, but has obviously minus the Leona package to be able to rally, and maybe Garen makes those matchups a little bit better because Garen's a little bit more aggressive than Leona, so I could potentially see that being good. But if you're interested in seeing this variation before I play it on stream, it's in the deck queue on my website as well. Thanks everybody for hanging out. We had a bunch of new followers today. Plekachu and Sharky is Bay, most recently. Welcome to Hoaglandia. I'm here 5 to 6 days a week. Like I said, you can check out my schedule on my website. Everything I stream ends up on my YouTube channel as well, including highlights of the best decks and games that I play each day. A lot of these decks that we play are also viewer submissions, so if you'd like a great way to support my content while also getting something out of it for yourself, I'd love to play your sweet deck idea on stream at some point in the future. I'm signing off for now, but I also do some variety stuff. I'll be back in about 4.5, 5 hours this evening. We're going to be starting, what's the game called? Disco Elysium, as a variety game tonight about 7 p.m. Central, and I'll be back with more Runeterra tomorrow morning at about 10 a.m. Everybody have a good night and stay safe out there, folks.